Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for this and I look forward to doing more of these like monthly workshops. I find before we and I'll do a recording of this. This is just sort of a little intro, but my teaching style is super laid back. It's not uncommon for me to describe things colorfully and possibly say some bad words. I'm going to try to keep this as polished as I can, but no guarantees is what I'm trying to say. But I'm really excited to share with you guys the knowledge base I've had for a very long time and the world that I've existed in and the way that I've been able to merge the two with doTERRA. And many of you have found me because of the essential oils, because of Instagram. And I think that's really awesome. But there is a deeper understanding of this stuff, more than you can put into a 10-minute video on Instagram Live or even in an individual post. So that's kind of what the workshops are going to be geared towards. So just more of a little bit of a deep dive. My teaching style is very casual, so hopefully you're not going to feel overwhelmed. Feel free to take pictures of the individual slides because I'm kind of a PowerPoint, I'm a visual learner. So I'm trying to make sure I meet the needs of those who are more auditory, but then also visual. So I have a PowerPoint done, which you can take screenshots of. I am going to be recording this so I can have it uploaded either YouTube or maybe like a Vimeo account. I haven't figured it out yet, but the content is being recorded. There is time I would like to take at the end for any questions. And so we'll go ahead and make sure that we do that. I'm pretty confident we're going to get through the info pretty quickly. But remember too that everyone's going to have their own interpretation of crystals and essential oils, and that you're here because you have a desire to learn more. And I think that is good enough. So I am not the end all be all. I don't know everything. And this actual workshop is geared to be more surface level so you don't feel overwhelmed. I'm going to give you some resources at the end if you want to go a little bit further down the rabbit hole, and it's going to be fantastic. So hopefully you have an assortment of oils. I have an oil for each chakra we're going to go through. And then we're also going to have recipes for every chakra. So you should walk away feeling like you've got a pretty good understanding. We have a chat box over here too, and I'm going to try to get those questions answered at the end if that's possible. And I'll make sure to record the chat log as well. So let's get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Alexander. I'm known on social media as Citrine Sage, and I am excited for this chakra workshop. This is going to be information that you can use for yourself or when helping others. A huge part of my journey with essential oils and doTERRA has been a lot of self-healing. And before I found essential oils, or at least the good quality ones, am I right? I was a massage therapist, a Reiki practitioner. I've been heavily immersed in energetic healing and in communities where I've learned from some amazing people with some amazing abilities to help me understand and illuminate why I may feel off. And so as we go through the chakra system and each individual one, I want you to just think about, is this something you can explore so that you can make the changes needed? Because I promise you, nobody is balanced 100% of the time. In fact, we usually will have 2 to 3 energy centers off at any given period. And those are known to switch and rotate. So just when you think you have figured something out, the healing continues because we're human. Imperfection is sort of the thing that we do best. And so I really want to just give you a little crash course into here are each chakra. This is how you can kind of figure out if this is one you need to focus on, or the oils and crystals and affirmations you can do to heal that once you've figured out that this is sort of in alignment with what's going on with you. So I am going to get the PowerPoint going because I love PowerPoints. And if you can't see it for whatever reason, I still have the video here in the corner. I won't be able to see the chat box. We're going to go through this awesome content. So have your oils out. When we get to the section about the oils and crystals, I would love for you to take a drop of an oil that you have from the group of oils that I've sort of honed down to, and place a drop in your hand and deeply breathe while we go through each chakra system and through each description. So it's going to give you a little bit of an insight of how you can use the oils. When it comes to using crystals and essential oils together, it's really about an intuitive setting a high intention, like being very present. And so there's no right or wrong way to do this is what I'm saying. And that your experience is going to be completely unique to you. And that's awesome. So welcome to our workshop. We're going to talk about energies and affirmations, oils and crystals. There's going to be lots of things that you can apply and lots of information. So Don't feel stressed out. This will be recorded. You can take pictures of the screen so that way you don't feel like you have to be writing. I would love for you just to be present with me and really truly listen, focus on your conscious breaths, use your oils, inhale them, grab your crystals if you got them, and let's just go through and learn more about this amazing system. And so a lot of people pronounce this chakra. It's easier for a lot of us who have learned both ways. I tend to just naturally say chakra instead of chakra. There is no real issue with that from what I've seen. You know, when you're in the healing community, I know that this goes back to some really sacred cultures and practices. But when you're in the healing community, showing up is just the hardest part. And so letting yourself just be okay with not knowing everything at once is going to be a really huge jumping point for you. But in our bodies, and if you look at this photo, this is sort of a representation of these 7 different chakra energy centers. And so our bodies are made up of many different layers of energetic centers, and then also auric layers. And so we've got lots of energetic bodies going on. This is what directly contributes to our mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. And so it's really common, especially right now, because the world does feel pretty heavy, to have one or more of these energy centers unbalanced. And we're going to dig more into each one specifically as we go. But these 7 chakras represent 7 points on the body, each having a different function. So your root chakra is going to be very different than your crown chakra. And there's a color association. There is a symbol associated with each one, which you're going to see. And so a huge part of our emotional and spiritual health just means we need to recognize, tend to, and support the unbalanced systems in our body so we can have total body wellness. It's not just enough to eat the healthy foods and drink the water. You need to be working on your mindset. You need to be balancing your energetic bodies. You need to be pouring into your self-care, into the ways that you show love to yourself so that you can be that best version of you, and so that you can navigate your life in a way that feels very whole and very conscious and very grounded. So the first one we're going to start with is the root chakra. And the color associated with this one is red. And so the root chakra rests in the base of the spine, and it draws the energy up from the earth's core. So when you do things like yoga or grounding, where you take your shoes off and you just wander through nature and just sink your feet into the grass or the mud or the dirt, that is directly influencing and supplying that earth energy to your root chakra. And so you'll feel energy move up through the feet and the legs. You'll feel your blood more energized when you're focusing on the root chakra. It stimulates our aggressive drives, linked to survival. And so if you are someone that is in a constant state of fight or flight, and we're going to go through some of the different balanced and unbalanced things, you might want to spend some time loving on this area of your body. But the root chakra's purpose is to keep us alive and vibrant and sustainable. And so the main location is the base of the spine. The color associated with the root chakra is red. And so a way to tell if your root chakra is imbalanced, if you have an overactive root chakra, and I like to think of these energy centers as sort of these spinning portals, like these wheels that draw either energy in or out. And so what we want is to have sort of these slow moving circular motions. We want the energy in each of our chakras to feel very fluid, very open, very consistent. You don't want them to be spinning too fast. That's what an overactive chakra would be. And if they're going too slow or not moving at all, that's what a blocked or underactive chakra would be. So when we talk about underactive and overactive, that's what we mean, is that the energy around these areas is either going too fast or too slow, and it's not in a balanced state of being. So if you have issues with your root chakra, or if you need to just spend more time trying to balance or heal this area, you may be someone that overreacts. You may be quick to anger. You may find yourself having cravings for unhealthy foods, thoughts of paranoia, nervousness, aggression, dominance, addiction to adrenaline activities, hoarding, or material fixation. The root chakra is one that's been something I've had to spend a lot of work on. I grew up not learning very healthy ways to cope with problems. And so that would often cause me to get in situations where I would be physically fighting and violent, or I would put up a wall, or I would feel constantly on the defense. So I would go through my life feeling very aggressive and not um, practicing manifestation or creating abundance. I was constantly scratching and digging at things. And so that may be something that resonates with you. On the other side, if your root chakra is underactive, then you are neglecting yourself. And this can show up as, things like depression. You could be underweight, you could have poor boundaries. So if you consider yourself to be a chronic yes person, meaning you'll put everyone else's needs and wants before yourself. If you have very passive energy, if you feel lethargic, if you feel disorganized, or you don't like change, or you feel like you don't belong, then this is something you want to focus to sort of raise that vibration so that you can get to a place where you're in between so that you're balanced. And hopefully this is making sense to you. Why is it doing that? So the root chakra oils that we want to use are basil, cedarwood, cilantro, myrrh, patchouli, vetiver, and Siberian fir. So if you have any of those, I would love for you to grab one. I chose vetiver. I love vetiver. It's very grounding and calming. It's got lots of rich, warm tones in it. So just apply a drop to your hands and take a nice deep breath. And the affirmation you want to say to yourself is, I am a divine being of light. I am peaceful, protected, and secure. And a lot of times, if your root chakra is imbalanced, you won't feel protected or supported. And this can show up in our relationships and with our family members, and even the relationship with ourselves. So really nurturing this connection to yourself, knowing that you are okay, that you are protected, that you are going to survive, you are going to make it, is really powerful. And some awesome crystals you can use are bloodstone, garnet, ruby, and red jasper. And with the crystal applications, something that's really lovely that I would recommend doing is you can pick your favorite oil for each chakra, do a drop on the location where they go, and then you can lay your stones over the essential oil drop. You can also hold these stones in the palm of your hand or press them over your heart. You can use them in meditation. You can just take deep breaths with them. You can put them in your pocket. You can wear them as jewelry. A conscious part of my day is figuring out which crystal I'm going to wear and which essential oil I'm going to smell like. And sometimes that'll change throughout the day depending on what my energy needs. But the root chakra is a really beautiful place to feel secure. And if you can think about the gift you give yourself when you feel safe and protected and strong and vibrant, that's a beautiful foundation to try to continue to grow and build and have just this wonderful life. And so take a picture of this if you would like. This is the root chakra blend. This one has 10 drops of Siberian fir, 10 drops of patchouli, and 5 drops of vetiver. Now, y'all know I'm a blend wizard. I would never steer you wrong. I know some of you don't like patchouli, including myself, but this blend is bomb. You're going to love it. So this one, you can choose to make your own blend for each chakra, because as you become more aware of yourself and more aware of how you're feeling, you can reach for a blend specifically geared towards supporting that specific chakra. So it's nice to have one of each, in addition to making like a once over chakra blend. It's nice to have one of each, because as you practice your meditations and maybe you do your journaling or things are coming up, you'll be able to isolate where you need the help. And then you just kind of plug into that blend and it makes it very, very easy. The next chakra, which is one of my favorites, is the Sacral Chakra. Now, this is the second in the chakra system. It's located in the pelvis. And this is the energy center that promotes our ability to enjoy life in physical ways. And I love talking about this one because it is directly related to sexuality. And I think as women, we have a lot of repressed thoughts and emotions and feelings about our sexuality, what we will allow ourselves to experience, and the pleasure we allow ourselves to have. So this chakra governs our vital well-being and a sense of deserving of a good life, or our capacity to develop abundance, or the things that we desire and that we want. And then this chakra also controls our ability to move forward in life. And it's deeply influenced about our ideas of pleasure and sexuality. So I can already probably feel many of you cringing like, oh no, this is me, this is me. Honey, it's all of us. It's most of us. So the sacral chakra is purpose, is authentic creation and sexuality. You can see it's right over the navel. So when you think about too, the reproductive organs that are housed in our torso, especially in that lower region, there's some really powerful energy between your ovaries and fallopian tubes, your uterus, and all the other bits and pieces. That's some powerful, powerful energy. And so this is a really, really good one to focus on if you feel very repressed or like that you don't have enough pleasure in your life. And the color associated with it is orange. Orange is like a very sexy, warm color, as it is anyways. But how would you identify if maybe this area was overactive or underactive? So if you have an overactive sacral chakra, you may have an excessive sex drive. You may even be a sex maniac or a nymphomaniac. You may just really like doing the deed all the time. And that's great. Having a healthy sexuality is wonderful. But when you have it in excess, it becomes almost a weapon. When you have it in excess, it becomes a distraction or a deterrent from your healing. And so we need to have balanced energies around our sexuality. You may find that you have compulsive behaviors, like you may be the person that decides to go skydiving on a whim, or you cut all your hair off, or you dramatically change your environment. You may find that you have behaviors you can't really justify with any real thoughts. You just did them. If you have an overactive sacral chakra, you might have more tension and frustration. You might be overly emotional or hypersensitive, or you may have emotional dependency. This one for me specifically is probably my hardest like chakra that is unbalanced for me, because being an empath and being like a vibrant person, I definitely have some learned behaviors. I feel very overly emotional. I feel like the overactive description is me to a T. So this is one that I have to sort of focus on and be mindful of, and how I'm taking care of myself and my body. And then on the opposite side, if you have an underactive sacral chakra, you may feel unemotional or unattached. Things may happen to you, and your reaction to it may be way less than I don't want to say normal because that's relative, but for the average person. You may feel very guarded, so you don't let pleasurable things enter your life. You won't take that pole dancing class. You won't go to Zumba. You won't do booty yoga. You won't do the things that allow you to have some more free expression around your body and sexuality, or you deny yourself the things that might give you some really great pleasure anyways. And so you might also experience deprivation, sexual repression. You may only want to do it one way at a certain time on a certain day, instead of on a Tuesday on the dryer and you have a sandwich afterwards. There's not a lot of freedom there. It's either very regimented or it doesn't exist. Maybe you haven't had sex in months or years, and that's a part of our wellness, is that connection to our bodies and intimacy and pleasure and desire. That's a huge part of the human experience. So just look at these things. You might have poor social skills. You might have a lack of desire or passion. So you might just be kind of blah about everything. You might just feel not uninterested, just unengaged. There might not be a lot that gets you going or gets you excited. You might be just kind of boring. And we are not like that. Each and every one of us has authentic and individual things about your personality that make you amazing and unique. And so nobody's truly boring. We just have not allowed ourselves to express the identity that truly exists within. So you can see how making sure these energy centers are balanced can translate into the kind of person you show up as every single day. So the crystals associated with these ones are carnelian, citrine, orange calcite, fire opal. Now y'all can see why citrine and sage. Citrine's my jam. It's all about abundance and desire and pleasure and happiness and energetic protection. That's why I wear it every single day. It's my favorite freaking crystal. But it's also really good for balancing that sacral chakra. Now, the oils you can use for this specific energy center are black pepper, cinnamon, cypress, tangerine, and wild orange. And so I'm going to grab wild orange because I love this one. Wild orange is easily in my top 10. Take a nice deep inhalation from your hands. And the affirmation is, I am authentically creating a life free of stress and full of bliss. And that's a pretty huge thing to say to yourself. I know sometimes for me, I'm always putting everyone else ahead of my own needs. And so, I'm the last one to eat dinner and the first one to clean up. I'm the one that wants to see everybody else experiencing joy and pleasure, and I don't really do a lot of nice things for myself, or it's been harder to do nice things for myself over the years. But part of ownership of this energy center is allowing yourself to have the things you desire, as long as it's within a healthy realm. And so just think of that. When you're saying this affirmation or you're inhaling this oil, try to imagine like an orange, peachy orange ball of light in the abdomen where this energy center is located. And just as you breathe, picture that ball of light just growing bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller. And when you visualize as you breathe, and then you say your affirmations and you're using your oils, you can see how there's going to be an instant switch, and that you're focusing your intention on a specific area. And if you do these things repetitively and you work on these specific areas individually for, a number of days, you can have some dramatic shifts. And you can have some dramatic shifts almost immediately. I take a whiff of the wild orange and I already feel like more abundant, more happiness, more pleasure, more joy because of the citrus oils. So this is how you can kind of pick and pull and decide what you're going to do. The blend itself that I've designed has 10 drops of cedarwood, 10 drops of tangerine, and 5 drops of cinnamon. This one is amazing, you guys. I know cedarwood and tangerine and cinnamon sounds kind of like a random grouping, but the way that the smoothness, the warmness, the inviting, that just like, there's just cinnamon itself is a very like exciting, like hot, sensual oil. And so this one, I use cinnamon all the time because it just makes me really feel like I'm in my zone of genius. So definitely make yourself this blend, especially if you're looking for a nice little perfume swap and you want to just have a very spicy, sweet aroma. This one is amazing. The third chakra, we're almost halfway through. The solar chakra sits over the stomach and represents our ability to be confident and in control of our lives. This is one a lot of people struggle with. This center is directly related to self-value, a primary quality in our relationships with others and the world around us. So the way that you love and value yourself is a direct correlation to the way you let the world interact with you and what you will allow your world to be consumed by. It reflects how we see ourselves and how we exercise our innate power. So the purpose is self-worth, it's confidence, it's power. And if you don't feel those three things, and if when you think about yourself, you don't think of yourself as like a powerful goddess or just, a warrior or someone that is confident and has value and has worth, then this is something to focus on. And it's slightly above the navel, so it's going to be a couple inches above your belly button. The color is yellow. And if this area is overactive for you, you might find yourself to be overly aggressive. You might need to always be right, say the last word, power hungry, be bossy, super competitive. You may use things that are sedatives to bring that sort of like animal aggression down. You may be conceited or self-centered or hyperactive or narrow-minded. And we all know people like this. We all know people who there's a line between confidence and arrogance. And it's important to know the difference, because you can be a confident person and still be inspiring. You don't have to be this sort of bulldog that just takes over and intimidates and does things that put people down so that you can shine brighter. So if any of these traits correlate to you, then that's something to focus on. I used to be this way. I grew up in a home and in an environment where everything was very competitive. If you were second place, you were the first loser. And, anything less than an A is not good enough. And you need to do these things and this things. And, I had a very rigorous sort of like set of requirements placed on me from a young age. And so it sort of caused me to be in this constant cranked up state of mind where I couldn't even just enjoy little things. I had to be the best at it. I had to be really competitive, and I would be pushed to do things. When I first started sharing doTERRA, that 3-year sprint to Blue Diamond was because I had this overactive solar chakra that thought I was only valuable if I climbed through the ranks and if I built my business big and if I was competitive and I was top and roller and I had these things first and did these things and made it to the magazine. I was consumed by this wanting to win that I kind of lost sight a little bit of why I said yes to this career and why I showed up. And so over the last 2 years, I've been undoing that overactivity and learning to be in a more state of balance. And so on the other side, if you feel like this area, the chakra of the solar plexus is underactive, you may have low self-esteem, or you may not trust yourself. You might feel weak or unmotivated. You might see some stuff in your digestive systems. You might have a victim mentality, like, why does this always happen to me? And nothing ever works out right. And I can't believe this is going on. And how could this be happening to me? You might also be unreliable to others or avoid responsibility. And you may be attracted to stimulants. So you might be that girl that instead of drinking your wine every day to calm you down, you're drinking your 4 cups of coffee a day to keep you revved up and ramped. So it's really important to understand how your little behaviors could directly relate to possibly these imbalances. And so the crystals associated with healing this area are amber, golden topaz, sunstone, citrine again, yellow calcite, and yellow jade. And so the oils you can choose from that I feel just doing this work and experimenting for a number of years are bergamot and cassia, clove, coriander, fennel, ginger, grapefruit, juniper berry, and wintergreen. And so as you pick whatever oil you're going to use to just breathe in for this affirmation, I chose grapefruit. This is the oil of honoring the body. This is the one that gives you a lot of the self-worth and just the overall like peace with that. And so as you take your deep breath in, you can also imagine a bright golden yellow light above your belly button, just going bigger and smaller as you breathe. And the affirmation is, I am powerful, confident, and successful in all of my ventures. Oops. I'm sorry, it's taking me the wrong way. Oh no, I'm too far. Hold on. Okay. The blend that I've created for this one is super dreamy. I don't think any of us have used coriander. Petitgrain is not one that is well loved, but petitgrain operates similarly to lavender as far as its protective and calming qualities. Bergamot is one of my favorite citrus oils. So this blend is a little bit higher in oil drops, but it's 15 drops of bergamot, 20 drops of petitgrain, and 5 drops of coriander. And you would apply this one over the navel. You can also inhale from your hands and then work through affirmations. Now the heart chakra. Oh, the heart chakra. This is probably one of the most beautiful places to start, even if you feel like you don't need to work on this. A mindful practice, especially if you are an empath or someone who feels things very deeply in the world, then taking some time to apply your oils and say an affirmation or just pour into this energy center in your body every day is going to do you a ton of good. And so the heart chakra is in the center of the human energy system. It functions both physically and emotionally to keep our life force alive. This is the protector chakra. It shields us from emotional pain and trauma. It empowers the spiritual heart. This form of love thrives in familyhood and in our relationships, asking us to give our love unconditionally. And so this chakra is inclusive and universal to the entire focus of our compassion and empathy. And if you think about what our world needs right now, it's more empathy and more compassion. So I feel like everybody should be pouring into their heart chakra every single day. So its purpose is really simple: love and joy and inner peace. And if those are not 3 things that you would associate with the way you currently live your life, then I urge you to just take some time to pour into your heart and take some time to just love on yourself. And so this one is right over your sternum, right over in the center of your body where your heart is. The color associated with this one is green. We all know green is a very, very healing color. And so let's talk about how we can differentiate if this center needs some attention. So if it's overactive, you'll be overly empathetic. That means you're going to be taking on too much stuff. That means you're going to be carrying burdens that don't belong to you. You are going to put other people's problems on the front of your to-do list versus the things that you need to do for yourself. You may be overly concerned or worried. You may have a comparison issue. You may feel jealous. You'll have poor boundaries, meaning you'll just do anything for anyone, anytime, with regardless of how they treat you or if that's reciprocated. You may have codependency. We see this a lot in our relationships. I know for a really long time, as I was considering like moving through separation and divorce, I definitely experienced some codependency. There's a real thing called trauma bonding. You can bond with people through the traumas that you share or that you experience together. And so codependency is definitely something that I've had to work through. Tendency to stay in toxic relationships. From a young age, even as a teenager, I chose pretty toxic relationships and stayed in them for a long time, multiple times. That was sort of my blueprint for dating, was who's the biggest piece of crap and how long will they not love me before I leave. So it felt very hard to navigate that for a long time. And then you might be overly sacrificing, and this can show up as something as simple as, like, maybe you and your partner don't go to the restaurants that you want to go to, or you don't do the things you want to do, or you don't get treated the same way on holidays or special occasions, or you're not being taken care of the way that you take care of others. And that's not okay. It needs to be balanced. On the opposite side, if your heart chakra is underactive, you may feel withdrawn or really shy. You might fear getting hurt, so choosing to stay by yourself or alone or isolated is going to be safer and easier than being vulnerable. You might feel lonely or unloved. You might be very possessive of the things that you do have, instead of feeling generous and open and abundant to share whatever you have with others. You may feel antisocial. You may feel judgmental and fearful of relationships. And this is something that, we all need to address, because relationships are a core part of our human existence. We need people. We need to know that we are safe and we are loved and we are seen and we are valued. And you can't do that by yourself. You can have your own self-worth and your own identity, but those feelings of community really have to be reinforced. So the crystals for this one are Amazonite. We have rose quartz and green aventurine. There are a ton of essential oils, to where I tried to fit them all into one little picture, but cardamom, eucalyptus, geranium, lime, marjoram, melaleuca or tea tree, peppermint, rose, thyme, and ylang ylang. My favorite for doing energetic protection of my heart, if you're an empath, is melaleuca or tea tree over the heart. If you want to open up that heart space, my favorite of these oils would be ylang ylang or rose. And so I'm going to choose rose, and this one you can apply directly over the heart, or you can just inhale. But the affirmation is, I am giving and receiving love effortlessly and unconditionally. As you take a couple of breaths, just imagine another, green, glowing ball of light in your chest, getting bigger and smaller, and sending your focus and your attention to healing that space and letting yourself know that you are worthy of love, giving and receiving, and that it is a two-way street, and that there is a way to have a balanced, well-rounded, supportive, loving existence with yourself and with others, because that's super important. The heart chakra blend is pretty simple, but this one's incredible. You can do 10 drops of melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree, 10 drops of frankincense, and then 2 drops of cassia. And so this one's going to smell warmer. It's going to smell a little more grounded, a little more herbal, but it's a great essential oil that will blend in with your natural pheromones. So this can be like your protective heart chakra blend every day. Now the throat chakra, this one is super important right now, especially in history, when we're all kind of discovering our voices right now. We're all sort of figuring out that we have a message to share, whatever that may be. And you'll see people using, right now is the perfect time to see everyone that does not have a balanced throat chakra. They're the ones that are spewing hate or being dramatic or being, I don't know how to say this without sounding like a total jerk, but just being too much. There's a difference between like speaking your truth and then shaming others, or being a source of negativity or elitist attitude. And we see this a lot, where everyone thinks they know best. Everyone thinks that their word is God, or their word is binding, or that they're the most intelligent, and you shouldn't listen to this source, you should listen to me. And we're seeing this everywhere. And so the throat chakra is often blocked with suppressed feelings, or it reveals unspoken ideas about our emotions. And so when this energy center isn't balanced, it really prevents us from rising to a higher vibration. And you have to be at peace with this chakra in order to live with truth and integrity. And truth doesn't mean that you scream the loudest, and that your soapbox is the biggest, and you have the biggest influence. it just means that you're speaking from a place that is of wisdom and experience and is a direct reflection of the person who you are. And so truth and integrity go hand in hand. And we often will see people say one thing and then do another. So that's not living in alignment with a balanced throat chakra. And so when this area is healed, though, your strength really flourishes and you can direct your life force towards creativity and self-expression, and you can do some beautiful things with a balanced throat chakra. And so this one is located in the center of the throat, and it's all about communication and self-expression and truth. The color associated with this one is blue, so it's going to be sort of that lighter kind of sky blue. And for you, this is one that I've definitely had to work on, but an overactive throat chakra would look like excessive talking, stuttering, you're not a great listener, you gossip about people, you're loud or dominating voice, or you have a tendency to interrupt. One of the hardest things I had to learn through my doTERRA journey was how to be a good listener. I kind of went into this thinking I knew better and I knew the most. And so if I was the loudest and the most obnoxious, then I would win. And that's not how people learn. That's not how you connect with folks. I think we all want to have a space where you feel humbled and accepted and honored. And so a big part of my healing journey over the last few years has been, how do I come to a place where like I'm able to just listen to the environment around me, process that, take the time that I need to figure out what is my authentic response, and then using my voice as my power to communicate that so that it's a really great reflection of me. And I think that's important for us to really focus on right now with everything going on. On the other side, if this area is underactive, then you may have suppressed feelings. You don't speak your truth. You might have a fear of speaking up or saying how you really feel. You might be afraid of offending people, or you might feel shy or weak. This could be a huge part of why relationships are hard, because you're not able to speak your truth. You're not able to communicate your needs. And that's a really important part of just being a well-rounded person, is how can you communicate effectively that allows your needs to be heard, but you're not forcing anything on someone. A really great thing I learned from my therapist is whenever you're in an argument, it's so easy to place blame on somebody. It's so easy to start to speak truths about other people. And that's almost what makes a lot of arguments escalate and end in a really ugly place. But a good way to redirect that, that's also conducive to supporting your throat chakra, would be, when this happens, it makes me feel like, or I feel like this when this happens. And so you start with this claiming, like, this is my feeling. This is how it makes me feel. I'm communicating what's going on with me based upon this experience I've had with you. So then you're not making it about the other person. You're taking ownership and communicating your needs. So that really has helped me navigate or avoid a lot of confrontation altogether and have more productive disagreements, if you will. So the crystals of this one are angelite, apatite, aquamarine, celestite, blue lace, agate, sodalite, turquoise. This one really directly does relate to the blue color. And my favorite oils are birch, lavender, spearmint, and frankincense. And actually, before I started this, I put some spearmint over my throat, and just to kind of give me that confident speech. And so I'm going to use more. Put some on my hands and do a nice deep inhale. And imagine like your throat area filling with just like a really soft blue light, getting bigger and smaller as you breathe in. And the affirmation associated with this one is, I am speaking clearly and truthfully with grace and ease. Spearmint's my favorite because it's the oil of confident speech. You'll notice maybe in yourself, I certainly notice it in myself, when I am saying something that is hard for me to get out, or if I am in a conversation that's difficult, my throat and chest will become very flush and very red. And so that's an indicator that, my throat chakra is a little unbalanced, or I'm having a hard time communicating. And, it's interesting, we'll have physical reactions to blocked energy centers. And so it's just something to be mindful of. Now, the blend that I've made for this specific chakra is 10 drops lavender, 5 drops lemongrass, 5 drops myrrh, and 1 drop of spearmint. And this one smells incredible. You can roll it over your throat every day. You're going to have thyroid support with this one as well. So if you're someone that I mean, the chakra information goes really deep because there's physical ailments attached to it. There are diseases attached to each chakra. There's color therapy with each one. There's all really, really powerful ways. I'm just trying to give you guys a very specific, like, here's what it does. Here are the colors, the oils, the crystals, and affirmation. I just want to give you a good understanding. And so then you can decide if you want to dig a little bit deeper. But with the thyroid, that directly relates a lot of the hormones in the body, but hyperactive or hypoactive thyroid, that is in your throat. And so two of the best oils for treating a thyroid and balancing it are lemongrass and myrrh. And they also correlate with the throat chakra as well. So if you're someone that maybe you are feeling like your thyroid is bogged down, this is a great blend for you to use every single day to not only help you have that confident, authentic speech, but also to support a healthy thyroid every day. So we are rounding out the last two. The third eye chakra is the center of our innate intelligence, and it thrives upon the wisdom of our pain, losses, and separations. And so when it's open and it's functioning well, you'll see a lot of people in meditation placing oils or other anointing oils over their third eye. A lot of different cultures, their artwork, many of their predominant figures are painted with a third eye on their forehead. When they say it's open and functioning, we see our highest good. Your third eye is almost like this third person observer that sees what is best for you, what's best for your awareness and developing your own intuition. So if you consider yourself to be an intuitive, then that means you have a very active third eye chakra. Like, you can see things before they happen. You might manifest things really easily. You can connect deeply in meditation, or your spirituality feels very vast and very, very circulating. You feel a lot of interconnectedness. You have a consciousness for yourself and for others. You feel a part of the world, not just in the world. And so this center seeks truth and meaning and freedom, and it's closely linked to a higher mindset and enlightenment. So when we talk about like raise your vibes or like get on my level, this is the third eye. That's third eye work. That's like you climbing up to the tippy top of your soul and looking out over the mountains and being like, okay, I made it. I see things for what it is. I know the way. I trust myself. I trust the process. I trust the worldly intelligence around it. And you're at peace that way. And so this one, the purpose, it governs intuition, imagination, and wisdom. And so this one's directly in the middle of the forehead. The color associated with this is a really beautiful combination of like blues and purple. So it's a nice indigo, like a really rich indigo color. Now, the third eye is still a system that can be unbalanced. And so while you want to develop it and work with it, and you want to try to create more activity there is too much of a good thing. So in an overactive third eye chakra, you have a tendency to space out. You may daydream a lot, or you have a hard time focusing. You may have hallucinations. I know some people who have gone way too deep in their spiritual journey, and now they feel like crazy folks because they're talking about things that they see and do that they believe are there. But if you're too deep down the rabbit hole, you can put yourself in a position where you may lose a little bit of trust with others. So hallucinations are, a thing. Paranoia, we might see this in maybe your partner or yourself. You're a constant worrier. You think one little, speck on your body is immediate cancer, or all of a sudden you have some like a rare form of a disease, or that one time you ate sushi 10 years ago is causing, flesh-eating bacteria to live in your brain. You may be paranoid of situations or think that you're being watched or listened to or followed. These are an overactive third eye chakra sort of indicators. You might have difficulty concentrating, and you might also have a lot of nightmares. So if things are a little too loosey-goosey, you're going to have a hard time feeling like the days are easy. Now, on the flip side, if your third eye chakra is asleep or it's underactive or blocked, then you might have a hard time setting goals. You might be narrow-minded. You might not want to learn anything new. You might think that everything is as it is and it doesn't need to change. You might have a lot of denial or poor vision or bad memory. You might not be able to plan for the future. You may have no imagination. If you're someone that's in doTERRA right now and you're just banging your head against the wall, like, how does this thing move forward when the whole world feels like it's coming to an end? You need to work on creating and developing more intuition, more wisdom, more imagination, more trust that things will come together. So the crystals, amethyst, blue quartz, aqua aura, fluorite, those are all really awesome options. Clary sage for the oils, lemongrass, helichrysum, cypress, and blue tansy. And what I like about these oils is you can apply them directly to your third eye, or you can inhale them. I'm going to use lemongrass because lemongrass just clears all the energies out of me super quickly. Let's take a nice deep breath with whatever one you've picked and picture just this beautiful indigo light just growing bigger and bigger and bigger, connecting you to something above. And the affirmation with this one is, I am tuned into the divine to follow the path towards my purpose. And so think of the third eye as like your ultimate spiritual compass, and you want to have a good, healthy relationship to trust that process. Here's the blend. 10 drops clary sage, 5 drops whisper, 2 drops helichrysum. You're going to go to the moon with this one. It's going to be amazing. You're welcome. I love you. And then the last chakra, the crown chakra, is the most elevated chakra in the entire system. This is the queen bee. This is the Beyonce of all of the chakras. It provides meaning to deepen our indelible connection with the source of our being. This one offers each person the energy of the cosmic consciousness and helps us feel we are one with all life. And so this chakra is basically like the last stop between us and the universal energy. This is like the highest you can climb in the ladder. And so the purpose is cognition, connection, and spirituality. And a lot of times with our spirituality, the more you develop a good sense of spirituality, the less you actually care about the things that don't matter. So this physical realm that we're on becomes less of a worry to you, and you are interested in higher levels of learning and what that impact truly looks like. So this is the top center of the head. The color is a violet or a white. Now, overactive crown chakras, you may be overly intelligent. You may be one of those people that just inhales a book a week, has every podcast listened to twice. You remember college studies. You may be someone that is just so freaking intelligent, super brain. You might be overly concerned with humanity. You might often feel confused because if you are really focusing on connection, then you could let too many things in, which can be very confusing. Think of it like opening up Pandora's box. If you're trying to invite the whole universe over for dinner, you're not going to have enough food for everybody. You got to just kind of like plan your get-togethers one at a time. And you might feel disassociated from your body. So you might actually have a poor relationship with your body because your belief system lies in there's so many more important things out there in the universe and universally that this body is just a vessel. Who cares what this looks like? Who cares about taking care of it? I'm more in my spirit body. I'm not in my physical body. And on the flip side, an underactive crown chakra means that you might feel separated and isolated from the universe. You don't feel connected to like a source energy. You don't believe in God or a God-like, source power. You may just think, I'm born, I die, and I become food for the worms. Who cares? And that's not a healthy way to go through life. Even if you don't believe in a specific religion, you have to know that we're all connected. That there is a universal thread that binds us together, and that there is an infinite source of creation that cannot be destroyed. It can only be multiplied. You have to believe that you are a puzzle piece in the grand scheme of things. So an underactive chakra will also make you feel like you have trouble trusting the universe. You might have trouble even asking for help or looking to the universe to give you signs or signals. You may have a hard time manifesting things. This may be really difficult for you to navigate. You might have a lack of a belief in a higher power. It might be just sort of like restricted in your thought process. You may just be way too two-dimensional. And you'll have excess power in your lower chakras. So you survive. You have vitality, you have sexuality, you're just doing these like physical things. You are satisfying those bottom 3 chakras only, and you're not interested in diving any deeper. And then you may have learning difficulties. So the crystals with this one, clear quartz, diamond, Herkimer diamond, moonstone, amethyst, those are some great options. The oils that I love, and if you guys are ever having a day where your emotions are scattered, you can't get into your brain or into your head, you just feel like you're just teetering in nothing. My favorite emotional get things straight, taste is something you'll get used to. It's a little spicy, but if you were to take Melissa, which we all know Melissa is expensive for a lot of reasons, but hot damn does she get the job done. Melissa, jasmine, lemon, Roman chamomile, rosemary, sandalwood. These are all incredible essential oils for balancing this energy center. And so I love Melissa. You can either put a drop on palm of your hands, or you can shake a little drop onto the thumb and press the roof of your mouth, which I do probably a couple times a week. The taste is like you just ate from the garden, like flowers. It's not great, but the way you're going to feel in a couple minutes is awesome. So you sacrifice having a bitter mouth for a little bit to feel like you have your sanity back. You can also inhale, but with this one, the visualization with the energy is you want to picture like a really violet, beautiful light at the crown of your head, growing bigger, reaching up towards the universe, because it's basically connecting you from your body to the rest of the universe. It's a highly spiritual connection. So the affirmation you can say is, I am one with my higher self, and I am one with the divine. And so you are acknowledging you exist, and you are a part of this spiritual journey, and you are part of the world around you, and that there is a greater purpose helping guide you through that. Okay. Now the crown chakra blend that I've got is 10 drops of sandalwood, 5 drops of Melissa, and 5 drops of Roman chamomile. And then the last thing I want to leave you with before we can just kind of jam on some questions is some simple associations. So your root chakra, the idea is to feel grounded, to feel safe. The second chakra is to feel creative. Your third is to feel strong. Your fourth is to feel loved. Your fifth is to feel expressive. Your sixth is to feel intuitive. And then your seventh is to feel divine. And so these are really simple word associations you can have to just remind yourself of where you might be lacking.